Good afternoon and happy Gemini New Moon. Now, when it's Gemini season or Gemini moons, I always speak to you about community, communication, thinking, and voice. And so I'm going to speak a bit about all of those, but particularly I want to talk about that conversation. You know, I value you, and I hope that you value me because that's why we're here, right? That's why we're here together. So I value you. And this year, it's all about value and where we place that value. I say so because first, before I can talk to you about what I'm going to talk to you about today, I want to say to you, is there value in your connections? Is there value in your relationship? Is there value in the conversations that you're having? Because if you value them, then we're going to keep talking. This is not about conversations or people or connections that you don't value. One thing we know for sure, this is a 9-year. A 9-year means that some things are going to have to be let go. And some people are going to have to be let go. So sometimes there's no need for further conversation because you've actually done that. You've been doing that. And now it's the time maybe that you're letting that go, right? That need for further conversation and resolution and whatever else, right? That's the thing. Gemini is about choice. So we can choose how we want to move forward. You have free will and you have free choice. And you can certainly choose what kind of relationship you're seeking and what kind of relationship has met its time. But one thing, again, that we're sure of is Saturn is in Aries, and our patience, our time, and our energy is limited, very limited. So therefore, we're not going to seek to extend that patience, that time, and energy in something that's not reciprocal. So that's not what I'm talking to you about today. Like, let that part go. And if there are relationships or things that we want to work on, that's what I'm talking to you about today. So it's really about becoming more conscious of our choices and to choose intentionally who's the community, who's the relationship, who's the connection that I want to give energy to at this time, knowing that it's a 9-year, Saturn is in Aries, and all of the above, right? So in this new moon, we may have to confront a thing. Yeah. You see that Scorpio full moon that we had? Well, it brought up a lot of things. It brought up a lot of things, right? You could check in with me below and tell me. But it brought up a lot of things, and I knew it was, and that's why I was on here talking to you. But coming from that energy of that Scorpio full moon, we're entering to this Gemini new moon, and we may have to confront some of the truths that came up in that Scorpio full moon about ourselves or about the people that we're in relationship with. Gemini is the close relationships. Brothers, sisters, siblings, family, partners, close community. We may have to confront some things that came up that we saw the truth about. And you know, the thing is, the truth of the thing is good for us to see. We're finally seeing what's behind the wall. And if you think that we've seen all of what's behind the wall, we have not. Uranus is about to enter into Gemini next month. Uranus will enter into Gemini around the 20-something of June. And we get to see further what's behind the wall, right? Because Uranus is the energy of the tower. It is about removing anything that has kept any truth hidden. It's about the falling apart of the facade so that we can see even more clearly. So when we see the truth, we may be having to confront that. So we may be seeing the truth of a situation, the truth of a relationship, the truth of a person, the truth of a dynamic. We may be having to see these things from behind their comfy, cozy wall of illusion. The illusion is gone, and we're having to confront this. But know that with Uranus in Gemini, one thing is for certain: all of our communication, our very language of communication, is changing. Your love language, your sibling, how you relate to family, how you relate to yourself, how you relate to other people, everything is up for change, right? So for sure, we're going to be learning a new communication style, a new kind of language that we're going to have to go forward with. So yes, we're releasing some old communication styles and we're learning some new communication styles. And these new communication styles, there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity here for us to put to the test this new communication style in having these confrontations or conflict over this Gemini new moon. So we're learning while we're practicing. And so it could feel kind of funky, right? You're not the master of this yet, this new communication, this new language. You're learning and you're in the process of learning it while you're having to use the skill. So slow down. Geminis don't like to take their time with thought. The thought comes and it comes fast, and Geminis speak fast. So this is saying to slow down, take your time, realize that you are learning a new communication style. It's not just you, it's every single one of us is learning how to communicate differently, and whether the language that we've been using is good for us. Is it life-giving? Is it in alignment with our purpose? Is it in alignment with our intention? Is it in alignment with our intention to build community? Is it in alignment with our intention to build relationships, healthy relationships? And so with this confrontation and conflict, one thing I want you to know is that conflict and confrontation doesn't inherently mean something bad, right? So a conflict is to face a thing, to face it head on. That's what it's defined as. To face something head on, to square a thing, right? And planetary, when planets square, the spiritual meaning behind a square is usually to activate something karmic, activate some karmic pattern that needs to be worked out. So this confrontation or this conflict is for sure something karmic that needs to be worked out and elevated to a place now that you can release that karma. You can break free from that karma. You can use this new language, these new habits that you're gaining when it comes to communicating, and break free from a karma that probably has felt really familiar for you generation after generation after generation. We may see this style of communication in our siblings. We may see this style of communication in our parents. And here now, you're having the opportunity to actually sit that down. Actually choose a new way of communicating. Choose a new way of what does conflict really mean? Well, to square a thing really means to create a more solid foundation. Square by itself is defined as a positive thing. It is a building of a more stable, strong, one that's filled with strength and stability, balance and truth kind of foundation. So the foundation that you had before, that this relationship was built on a whole lot of illusion. And that Scorpio full moon opened our eyes to seeing some of the truth about the illusion. Now we've made a choice. We've made a choice that this is indeed valuable, and that we want this relationship. We want this community. We want this friendship. We want this relationship with our siblings. It is something that we value. So now, after seeing the truth, how about we go about conflicting, having a discussion around the conflict, having a face-to-face confrontation, And there's so many of us who are scared of confrontation. We don't like confrontation. This is something that we've been taught not to like. Oh my goodness, it feels like, ooh, right? And for those of us who love confrontation, that's been something that you've been taught to love, and it's been the thing that you fall back on for everything. But there's no intention behind your confrontation. There's just confrontation, right? So now we're choosing to have intentional face-to-face confrontation meeting, building on a square or a solid foundation about what it means to move this relationship forward into an entirely different place. So you could feel like you're on opposite sides in this face-to-face confrontation, and next thing you know, you're meeting in the middle on solid ground. But that is not going to happen unless there is this confrontation that's needing to happen. So remove the negativity behind confrontation. Remove the negativity behind conflict, and try to think of this confrontation as meeting someone face to face, or spirit to spirit, or heart to heart. I know that's hard. I know that's hard. And so Gemini rules the nervous system. Gemini rules these hands. So these hands could be going, right? But Gemini also rules the nervous system. And so when we're having this conversation, we need to ask ourselves, what would it take for me to have this confrontation with another person with a nervous system that's fully supported? So before I have the confrontation, how can I support my nervous system? What does that look like? Well, for me, as an herbalist, my recommendation would be a nervous system supportive tea. Something like lemon balm, something that brings clarity and supports your nervous system. Mint might be a really beautiful herb right here to support your nervous system. Oat straw, rose, heart-centered support, right? Some of that would be great to have before this conversation. What I'm saying is, make time to invite intentional conversation in. An intentional conversation looks like, I'm drinking a tea, I'm lighting a candle, I'm setting a beautiful space that the two of us can sit and talk. The table that we're sitting at may have some yellow flowers that bring about joy and harmony on them. So calendula is great here, right? Set some yellow flowers out. Have the tea, light the candle, say a prayer, invite in the energy of a shoe, invite in the energy of Mercury to ease and smooth things over as you're having this conversation. So set a day and an appointment. No one wants to be ambushed right now. No one wants to be ambushed with your conversation and your conflict. I'm telling you that right now, unless it's a war. If this is about a war, okay, then you're ambushing people. But if this is about resolution, you are setting a mutually appropriate time where both people are willing to show up and extend themselves because their nervous system is supported. So it's sharing that nervous system tea, and it's really creating the right environment for resolution and conversation and really having that conversation. So be intentional. Be intentional. And this is about, if this relationship is vital to you, then create the right set of circumstances and the right environment to support the energy and the words that are being exchanged. If the relationship is valuable, we will notice it in the opportunity that you're taking to really hold the space for this conversation. Be impeccable with your words. That means say what you mean and mean what you say. And it's okay to confront the truth, because there's truly no healing without truth. As I often say in this very place, truth is necessary for us to be truly healed. And what truth means is you are not telling someone about their truth. You are stating your truth, and you allow them to state their truth. And from there, the conversation can happen. I wish you all the best with this. I know I got to put it into practice too, right? I wish you all the best with this. Tell me if you're brave enough and courageous enough for this to happen. And I send so much love to you. Yeah, until we talk again, there's so many things that are happening. But on June 1st, I will be teaching my next webinar. So don't tell me that I didn't tell you. That is Jupiter in Cancer, a beautiful time for the month of June. I will see you at that webinar. You can register for that, link in my bio, and we will talk to each other very soon. Sending you so much love. Until then, be well and have these great conversations, building stronger foundations for yourself. We're going to need these communities. We're going to need these relationships as we move forward in this year. So take great care of yourself. Bye-bye.